Around midday on December 1st, a major fire broke out near Wuyi New Village in Guangzhou's Haizhu district. A truck caught fire and the flames quickly spread to nearby vehicles. The blaze formed a long line of fire and the scene looked terrifying. Firefighters said the truck was carrying 2,400 liters of liquid paraffin, which caused a sea of flames on the ground. Multiple videos show intense flames and thick black smoke rising into the air. The fire spread for dozens of meters and the location was very close to a subway entrance. Nearby shop owners said the incident began with a vehicle collision. The liquid paraffin on the truck leaked and flowed out, spreading the fire to a row of electric scooters parked along the road. Electric scooters started catching fire at around 1:40 p.m. By about 2:10 p.m., the open flames were gone, but batteries in some scooters were still smoking. Guangzhou Fire Services reported that no one was injured or trapped. Another video shows workers beginning to clean up and count the burned electric scooters. People online commented, "This is way too scary." And I once saw a taxi catch fire at the entrance of my company, but it was never this bad. My goodness. Chinese democracy activist Tang Baichao shared the video on X and said that fires like this are very typical under the Chinese Communist Party. He said, "You rarely see this in other places, especially in big cities. You want to know what a hidden danger looks like? This is it," he said. In his post, he criticized the government for ignoring public safety and treating people like tools for profit. He warned that similar incidents in China will become more frequent and even more shocking, and said he hopes everyone stays safe. Recently, fires have been breaking out across China. On November 29th, a logistic warehouse suddenly caught fire in Bailizhuang, located in Chenhua district in Chengdu. Videos posted online show huge flames and heavy smoke shooting into the sky, along with repeated explosions. The warehouse burned down to its steel frame. The Chenhua District Fire Brigade said they received the alarm at 5:02 p.m. and extinguished the flames by 5:45 p.m. No one was hurt and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Witnesses said the warehouse was next to exit C of the Bailizhuang subway station. Even after the flames were put out, traffic around the area remained restricted that night. At around 3 p.m. on November 30th, another large fire broke out at the Xiaoyang Shoes Industrial Park in Haizhu, Zhejiang Province. Videos show thick black smoke rising from the rooftop to a building, while many people gathered nearby to watch. Many people left comments under the videos. Some said, "I heard the fire trucks around 3 o'clock. Others wrote, "I feel like I could smell something awful from inside my home." Another person said, "Good thing the fire was on the top floor. If it had started on a lower level, the people upstairs would have been in trouble." That day, staff from the Wenling Fire Rescue Brigade told the media that the fire was extinguished at around 3:50 p.m. They said only the rooftop was damaged, no one was hurt, and the cause was under investigation. After that, there were no further updates. Around 1:40 p.m. on November 30th, a barge caught fire about 200 meters upstream of the Nanmen Bridge on the Jingsha River in Yibing, Sichuan. Flames shot out from inside the vessel and thick smoke poured out. A firefighting boat rushed in to help and firefighters on land joined from the dock. By 2:15 p.m., the flames were out. Officials said there were no injuries and the cause was still under investigation. No updates followed. On the morning of November 29th, a vehicle caught fire inside the Chendong Tunnel on the Shaxia section of the Sha County Expressway in Shanming, Fujian. Thick smoke filled the tunnel and many people who escaped were covered in soot. The exact number of injuries or casualties remain unclear. A driver at the scene said, "I don't know if anyone got hurt. It scared us half to death. At first we couldn't see anything inside the tunnel. My heart was pounding. The smoke was everywhere." In the early hours of December 1st, a tanker truck exploded and caught fire in Nanjing. The authorities have not released details about casualties or damage, but videos on social media show the explosion and intense flames. Also, in the early hours of December 1st, a fire broke out on a hillside near a residential complex in Jingshou, Hunan. The fire was only about 300 to 500 meters from the homes. Witnesses said the flames were more than 10 meters higher than the trees. On November 30th, a unit in residential complex in Changsha, Hunan suddenly caught fire. Bright flames could be seen shining through the windows. Videos show the fires starting in a unit on the 21st floor. After the incident, many residents gathered downstairs. On December 1st, several residents told the media that the fire was man-made. Before the blaze, two residents on the 21st floor had been arguing. Staff from the Tianyuan community confirmed that the fire started in the unit on the 21st floor and was caused by personal reasons, not by an accident. They also said the fire caused property damage but no injuries. Some people online said the man gambled away all their money and the woman got furious. Her emotions were unstable, so she set the place on fire. Another wrote, "She set the fire on purpose. She must be severely punished." Chinese media reported that the burned apartment is about 120 square meters and that the couple and their child were inside at the time. The couple has been taken away by police for investigation and the child has been picked up by relatives to ensure safety. The apartment has now been sealed off as investigators gather evidence. Around 4 p.m. on November 30th, a traffic accident occurred on a section of Sutai Expressway in Suzhou, Jiangsu province. Witnesses said a fuel tanker suddenly veered into the opposite lane and hit a sedan that couldn't avoid it in time. The tanker caught fire and ignited the car, and both vehicles were badly burned. The crash caused heavy congestions along the section of the road. At around 1 a.m. on November 16th, the Fujian Guangzhou Coast Guard received a report that a fish farm structure near Dongshan Bay had suddenly caught fire. The situation was extremely dangerous. After more than 2 hours of joint firefighting, the flames were fully put out around 4 a.m. On November 30th, a cattle barn caught fire in Zibo, Shandong. The flames were intense and many cattle were injured or killed. It was reported that an abandoned shed caught fire first and then ignited two nearby barns where cattle were being raised. Local officials said the owner suffered losses of several 100,000 yuan. On December 2nd, multiple fires broke out across different regions of China from south to north. That morning, a large fire broke out at a market in Jieyang. Dozens of fire trucks were dispatched. Later that morning, another fire occurred at a factory in Puning, also in Jieyang, Guangdong. On the same day, a factory fire was reported in Zhuzhou, Hunan. Some online users said it was a textile factory, but no official statement has been issued. On the morning of December 2nd, a building caught fire in Qingdao, Shandong. On the same day, a shop in Guigang, Guangxi also caught fire. While trying to escape, one person accidentally fell from the building and crashed through the roof below. Local officials said the injured person has been taken to the hospital for treatment. There was also a close call with students at Guangzhou Medical University who reported a strong smell of gas spreading across campus and suspected a gas leak. On the morning of December 2nd, local authorities said there were no gas leak inside or outside the school. However, they did find discarded liquefied gas dumped in a green belt area near the school, which they believe came from a private vendor. Some people online said if anyone had lit a cigarette, it could have caused an explosion or a fire. A vlogger posted a video saying that on December 1st, a major fire broke out somewhere in Hebei, but she could not confirm the exact location because authorities had not released any information. She said,
On
the evening of December 1st, a big fire broke out in Hebei province. The flames were fierce and thick black smoke filled the sky. A person online commented, "Whenever I post a video, someone calls me and tells me to take it down. No one called you about yours?" Many accidents in China are man-made disasters tied to hidden rules in officialdom and industry. In 2023, Zhejiang state media reported that behind one fire case was a fake fire inspection report that had covered up safety risks. This kind of illegal practice has become an industry unwritten rule. In April 2023, the Lingping District Procuratorate filed charges against those responsible for a particular fire. Investigators found that the failure of the fire protection system was one of the reasons the blaze spread so quickly. The Fire Protection Facility inspection report for the site turned out to be fake. The Fire Safety Service agency that issued the report did exist, but the inspector who took the job accepted a 1,500 yuan fee and issued the report without conducting any on-site inspection, allowing the venue to pass acceptance by cheating the system. Reports say that since China's fire safety enforcement reforms in 2019, the number of licensed service agencies in Zhejiang has surged from just over 100 to nearly 700. Driven by profit, the industry has become chaotic. Companies compete by offering extremely low prices, engineers rent out their licenses, and fake inspection reports are issued. As a result, safety valuations have become a formality, leaving major risk hidden. Huang Jian from the Zhejiang Fire Rescue Corps said violations like these are not isolated cases and keep happening despite repeated crackdowns. But if these are the industry's unwritten rules, the official system has its own unwritten rules for handling accidents. China's commentator Yue Shan said the Chinese Communist Party's bureaucracy has a strong blame-shifting culture. First, when something goes wrong, officials always refuse to take responsibility and try to push the blame outward. If someone must take the fall, they first look for a temporary worker to blame. If that doesn't work, the second layer of blame goes to business owners. The third layer is low-level public employees. When a disaster becomes too big to ignore, authorities may sacrifice a city-level or provincial capital official to calm public danger. But provincial or ministerial officials are almost never touched, and even those removed from their post often return later if they have powerful backers. Yuan Shan said another unwritten rule is that the CCP's top leadership never takes the blame. No one has ever seen a Politburo Standing Committee member take responsibility for a major disaster because doing so would threaten the party's claim to legitimacy. Commentator Xu Ke said that while it is fortunate that when fire incidents cause no casualties, there is a pattern. Officials always emphasize that no one was hurt or they leave casualty numbers vague. Media reports are often delayed or non-existent. She said this reflects the CCP's long-standing disregard for life and for the public's right to know. It is the same tactic used during the early outbreaks of SARS and COVID-19. Hide what they can, and when hiding is impossible, release numbers that have already been processed. Under one-party rule, there is no independent oversight, and independent investigations are impossible. Even in Hong Kong, now fully under Beijing's control, independent investigations have become nearly impossible. On November 26, a level 5 fire broke out in One Foot Court in Tai Po. Hong Kong police announced that as of 4 p.m. on December 2nd, the death toll had reached 156 people, with 30 others still missing. Some bodies were burned to ash. Inside the building, many units were completely gutted, leaving a scene of devastation. The cause of the blaze has been a major point of controversy. The protective netting used during renovation was not the required flame retardant type. The One Foot Court Fire Interest Group launched a petition with 4 demands: support for victims, creation of an independent investigation committee, a review of construction supervision systems, and accountability for negligent officials. The petition gathered more than 10,000 signatures. Soon after, reports emerged that its organizer, Miles Kwong, had been arrested by Hong Kong's National Security Police for alleged incitement. He was released on bail on December 1st. Veteran journalist Fang Wei said, "Did Miles Kwong really go too far, or is Hong Kong the one that has gone too far?" Hong Kong's former Secretary for Transport and Housing, Anthony Chen, told the media that a thorough investigation is now almost a consensus among the public. He said an independent investigation committee is one option, and with the scale of this fire drawing global attention, tradition would normally call for an independent inquiry. Under intense public pressure, Hong Kong's Chief Executive John Lee announced on December 2nd that an independent committee could be set up to examine how the fire started, why it spread so quickly, and any related issues. But at the same time, all civilian-led investigations were halted. The Hong Kong Association for Democracy and People's Livelihood originally planned to hold a press conference on the afternoon of December 2nd on high-rise building maintenance policies. The goal was to address the handling of the fire at One Foot Court, the demand for an investigation committee, and problems in construction oversight. But organizers suddenly notified the media that the press conference had to be cancelled because a certain department instructed them to do so. They did not specify which department. Meanwhile, the association chairman, Bruce Liu, and commentator Wong Ong-ying, who were set to attend, were pressured by the Hong Kong National Security Police through what they called a meeting request. On December 1st, China's Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office said that Xia Baolong, the deputy head of the Central Leadership Group for Hong Kong and Macau Affairs and the director of both the HKMAO and the State Council's HKMAO, received a full briefing in Shenzhen on November 30th. The report was believed to be related to the deadly fire, but no details were disclosed. The Hong Kong government did not respond when asked whether any officials had been sent to meet him. Notably, Xiao Baolong is a close ally of Xi Jinping and is known for his involvement in the persecution of Christians. Beginning in early 2014, the Zhejiang provincial government launched a campaign to forcibly remove crosses from church rooftops. Xiao Baolong, then Zhejiang's party secretary, was a key figure behind that campaign. Earlier, during a fire-related press conference, Chief Executive John Lee repeatedly thanked Xi Jinping, pledging loyalty. A Hong Kong reporter confronted him directly, saying, "Why is it that every time you only thank the firefighters at the very end? Do you not value their contribution?" Observers worry that the government's decision to establish an independent committee while rejecting any civilian-led investigations may be tied to intervention by the CCP leadership. Under the party's behind-the-scenes control and stability maintenance machinery, true independent investigations in Hong Kong have become impossible. Commentator and former Central Commission for Discipline Inspection official Wang Youchun said that in dealing with a disaster like this, whenever responsibility involves abuse of party power, such as dereliction of duty, misconduct, or illegal gains by party loyalists, the party will do everything it can to hide, paper over, downplay, divert, and ultimately erase the issue. At most, a few scapegoats may be punished to take the blame for a catastrophe of this scale. Commentator Du Zhen said Hong Kong has now become fully mainlandized, and many official numbers may no longer be trustworthy. In China, even though the CCP already operates a strict Great Firewall and heavy everyday internet censorship, Xi Jinping recently called for even tighter control online, a sign, he said, that the regime is in a panic mode. Multiple sources familiar with regulatory work says that the Cyberspace Administration of China is leading the development of an upgraded online early warning system. As soon as any sensitive content appears to be on a website or social platform, the system will immediately send an alert and automatically block it. Du Zhen said, "Goodness will always triumph over evil. No matter how much the CCP upgrades the system, it still won't be able to stop information from spreading online." He said the frequent disasters, both natural and man-made, are warnings to those in power and that the CCP will collapse overnight in the end. The wave of fires across China has drawn wide attention online. Many people have been saying, "What's going on lately? And why are these fires everywhere?" And so many places have had huge fires over just a few days.
Fires are breaking out all over the country. Bozhou and Anhui, Hong Kong, Wuhan, Jinan, Dezhou and Shandong, Tai'an, Tangzhou, Meizhou, Huizhou and Guangdong, Liaochang and Shandong, Jinhua and Zhejiang, Wenzhou's Dalo Mountain, Jiahe and Guangzhou, Guizhou, Huai'an and Jiangsu, Zhaoqing and Guangdong, Beihai and Guangxi, the port of Fujian. So many places are burning. And all of these fires are happening in November. Why? Why didn't we see this in September or October? Isn't it strange?
The year 2025 is coming to an end, and there are rumors that the red horse, red sheep disaster, which is said to occur once every 60 years, will arrive in 2026. The red horse and red sheep years relates to astrology and refers to Bingwu and Dingwei years in the traditional Chinese calendar. Hong Kong metaphysics expert Tong Bisha explained that from the perspective of yin-yang and the five elements, Bingwu and Dingwei years are years where the fire and earth become too strong. She said society becomes less tolerant, people become more irritable, and natural disasters such as droughts, volcanic eruptions, forest fires, and explosions are more likely to occur. Some bloggers say that at the end of 2025, the lunar calendar transitions from EC to Bingwu. In traditional fortune-telling and feng shui circles, this period is widely regarded as a time when fire energy becomes extremely strong and hard to control, especially from November 2025 to February 2026. On November 28th, Taiwanese fortune teller Shen Rong wrote on Facebook that 2026 will be the Bingwu Red Horse year, and that both Bing and Wu belong to the fire element. Fire stacked on fire, symbolizing an overwhelming buildup of fiery energy, combined with the once every 60 years red horse, red sheep disaster. She said this has historically coincided with unrest, war, or major political upheavals. This has fueled public anxiety about issues such as possible Taiwan Strait conflict or political changes in the Chinese Communist Party. Independent commentator Cai Shen-kun said that although Xi Jinping removed term limits through constitutional changes, persistent rumors suggest he is facing an internal power crisis. Many of his loyal military commanders have fallen, including Miao Hua and He Weidong. Beyond corruption, the main issue behind their downfall is political. Australian scholar Feng Chongyi said Xi Jinping faces two major crises. First, after he came to power and used anti-corruption campaigns to purge his rivals, people across society began resisting quietly. Citizens go passive, officials slack off, and the military also shows poor discipline, meaning that even preparations for a Taiwan conflict face passive resistance. His second and deeper crisis, Fen said, is that Xi has no successor. The so-called third-generation red elites cannot inherit the regime, leaving a break in the political lineage of the party. He said, its future is bleak with no clear path ahead. That's what people mean when they talk about entering the garbage era.